Hello there, baseball fans. Thanks for joining me for a very different and I'll dare say special kind of a baseball card pack opening video. Something I've certainly never done before. This is a mail day gift, if you will, from a friend of mine downstate. Goes by the name of Robert. So, Robert, thank you so much for sending me some cards in the mail. But they're not just any cards; they are specifically White Sox cards. Which, of course, if you're watching this channel, that's what you came here to expect. But this is connected to Robert's cousin Tim. Robert shared some fun stories, including that when they would get together, well, just everything was about baseball when they got together, playing baseball, buying baseball cards, of course, coming up with games where they use their baseball cards kind of against each other. I want to know how that game works. I'll play Robert if you still know the rules. But Robert was at a disadvantage because his cousin had a paper route since he was 13. So he was rolling in it. He was balling and could afford the best cards and more cards as well. And he shared a story about how he remembered the mind-blowing moment in 1989 when Upper Deck Baseball came out and packs were over a dollar per pack, which is just wild, knowing where the sport is now, where the hobby is now. To think $1 a pack was like a brand. Nobody had ever charged that much for a pack of cards before. Sadly, Tim did pass away when he was 16 years old in a car accident. It was a very traumatic thing for the family. So the family just kind of boxed up all of his belongings and put them away where they have been sitting for the last 30 years. Fortunately, Robert's aunt reached out to him and said, "Hey, there's all these baseball cards. Do you want them?" I said, "Absolutely. I'd love to have them." And Robert goes on to say, obviously this is not about the value of the cards. We all know that this is the the quote unquote junk wax era where a lot of cards were overproduced. It's not about the value of the cards. It's about the memories. It's about keeping Tim's name alive. He took it upon himself to start parsing the cards out and giving them to people that were big fans of certain teams. And of course, with the White Sox, he thought of me, and I very much appreciate that. And to share something that Robert wrote to me, he said, I just wanted to use this opportunity to tell somebody new about my cousin. Since 30 years have gone by, his name continues to disappear and dissipate. Many new people get to learn about him or know him. That's really more about what this is about. And there's some great quotes and ideas about the three deaths that we all have that I can get into at the end of this. But yeah, Timothy was a huge baseball fan, big Frank Thomas fan, big Frank Thomas collector. They have yet to unveil that vault somewhere that is where he kept all of his Frank Thomas cards. That will be an exciting moment, I'm sure. They haven't found that stockpile yet. And he also imagines that, again, that 89 Upper Deck season, he's guessing that there is just a box full of Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards out there somewhere. And he ended off by saying he hopes my wife and I are doing well. Thank you so much, Robert. I thought maybe it was not the most appropriate thing to share a picture of his grave, which Robert actually did send me. But I do want to mention it to you because it is, I mean, this kid was a baseball fan through and through. His grave actually is shaped like a baseball with the stitching and everything. And the photo on the grave is actually a Little League picture of him. So yes, absolutely tipping our cap in remembrance to Timothy Hansen, who was just a baseball lover to his soul. And don't know what is in these cards other than the fact that they're White Sox cards. We're going to take a look at them, and let's just get started right now. I've only sliced the top open. I have not opened this at all yet. Oh, there's sitting loose in here. Oh, Thiggy, right off the bat here, the guy that once held the record for most saves in a single season with, what was it, 57? Bobby Thigpen. And he had that record for quite a long time, too. Robin Ventura. Fleer 91. It's so odd. I mean, this is getting, I don't know if I don't want to say morbid or anything, but I remember actually buying a pack of this series, Fleer 91, during a funeral for one of my grandparents. So I have that weird connection to that as well. Blackjack McDowell, Cy Young winner, 1993. Obviously had a little bit of a falling from grace once he went to Cleveland. But that's oddly enough a blackjack card I don't have, and I can't even say Jack McDowell. It just has to be blackjack. So that's actually really cool, and it's rare to not see him with a goatee. That was kind of an iconic thing. Geez, Carlton Fisk. I don't think I had this one either. I bought a lot of this series, but I did not have that Jack McDowell or Carlton Fisk. Always great, and of course today we would use the erased dude in the background feature. Was that old Cleveland Stadium, maybe? Ozzie Guillen, I definitely had this card. Officer Karkovice. I remember I went to my birthday. It's so funny that, I'm thinking baseball things, but it does come back to personal real life things more so than, the game or the collecting. But yeah, my birthday is in December, which is not a great time for baseball. So one time we held it in August and went to a game with some friends. Of course, my family, my parents brought us. Jack McDowell pitched and Karkovice caught, obviously, because Ron Karkovice was his personal catcher. But he hit a home run. Ron Karkovice hit a home run. I believe the White Sox won 5-0 against the Angels in that game. Mike Huff, 92 Donruss. These were nice cards. I remember 92 Donruss being pretty cool. I mean, this is in an era where up until close to now, it was just nothing but text on the back. So the fact that you're getting a graphic on the back as well. Floyd Bannister, a little bit before my time. I'll be honest. I don't think I know who this is. Tim Hewlett. Floyd Bannister again. I do love this era of cards. The design there. Ivan Calderon. He was definitely a big hitter for the White Sox. Now here, Danny Pasqua, and here's a pretty good action shot for him. He was the most infuriating White Sox player for the longest time. A guy who apparently would hit 500-foot moonshots in batting practice and just could not really put it together on the field. And the White Sox kept him on the team for so long. Debo, our first base coach now, or is he still? To get into the gossip of the White Sox, apparently Daryl Boston worked as kind of a spy for the front office. So I don't know if the players loved him because of that, but that is something I've heard whispered, at least. I don't know if that's true or not. Yes, awesome. This is it right here for me. My favorite player growing up, one dog, Lance Johnson, and it's a card I don't have. Fleer 1994. Man, I have a podcast where I talk to all sorts of different people. We always do a baseball episode once a year, and I want to try to track down Lance Johnson. And my podcast co-host is a Cubs fan, so it'd be cool if we could each track down our favorite childhood player. But yeah, Lance Johnson was absolutely mine. Never fear, one dog is here. George Bell, yeah. I mean, listen, when I started watching baseball, White Sox baseball in 92, 91, 92, I think is really when I first got into it. George Bell was a power hitter on the team. So I came in just after the Sammy Sosa era. Of course, George Bell was a really good hitter in his own right, but he'll, I think, forever be remembered as the guy that the White Sox traded away Sammy Sosa to get. Robin Ventura again. And Ventura, I did not love him as a manager. I don't think anybody did, but he was an amazing third baseman. I had a Robin Ventura poster on the wall as a kid growing up, where he had the gold glove, literally the gold glove, and there was a the foul line was in flames because he's patrolling the hot corner. I don't know. Anybody remember that poster? Anybody else have it? Ron Officer Karkovice again. Oh, let me tell you about Bo Jackson. Pinnacle. I cannot believe how many cards I'm pulling here that I didn't have yet. That is a Bo Jackson that I did not have. That's awesome. That's so cool. Got Bainesy there. I think that's 87, 86 maybe. Oh yeah, look at this. Did not play. So he's recovering from his hip surgery there. But yeah, anytime Bo Jackson shows up, you are happy about it. Back to Bobby Thigpen in Bowman. Isn't it wild how Bowman went from being, one of the early big time card companies to such an afterthought in this time period? And now, again, I think is my favorite brand to collect currently is Bowman baseball. And then back around to George Bell. So thank you so much, Robert. These are cards that I treasure. I will keep, but I'm going to keep them on their own. I don't know yet how I'll display them or what exactly I'll do with them, but I definitely want to keep them in their own place because they deserve to stand on their own and not just get absorbed into somebody else's collection. But I'll display these here. And I mentioned a thing about the 3 deaths, and I can't remember which culture talks about this. But again, we're getting deep here. We're getting deep. We're getting philosophical, and of course, that's why you tune into a card breaking video, is to get philosophical and introspective. But that we all have a number of deaths that we go through. One is, of course, the physical death. One is when the body is no longer seen again. So basically, after the funeral, and the final is the last time somebody says your name, which of course will happen years and years and years after you pass away. And, as Robert mentioned here, 30 years have gone by and his name continues to disappear and dissipate. This is exactly what this concept is about. So mentioning Timothy Robert Hansen here is a way to make sure that that third death isn't happening yet. And now it's on YouTube. And we're talking about him, the person from downstate Illinois who was a young baseball lover who tragically died in a car accident at 16 years old. We are saying his name and sharing his name. And hey, each time somebody watches this video centuries from now, because I'm sure I'll have historical reverence on my channel, and it'll stick around. But anytime somebody watches this video, the name will be said again, and that third death does not happen. Again, I said this is going to be a very different type of video. Thanks for coming along on this ride. But this is what it's about so much. I mean, we love talking about baseball and complaining about trades that did or didn't happen, play on the field, on and on and on, as that is part of the fun of the fun and the torture of being a baseball fan. But it's about so much more. It's about our connection to history, our friends, our family. It's a way to connect with people, even if you have a political divide or if there's other things in the way. We can all share an interest in sports, an interest in collecting. That is the beautiful thing about the game that can infuriate us so often. All the beautiful moments, all the devastating moments. So one last time, remembering Timothy here, and thank you so much, Robert, for sharing this with me. Thank you all for watching. And hey, if you enjoyed this, if you got to this point, especially just as a little tribute, please do leave a comment, maybe something sentimental, hit the like button, anything like that. This is, again, not exactly the type of video that is going to go viral or anything, but let's try. Let's see what we can do to keep celebrating Timothy Hansen's name. Thank you all for watching.